the Airbus A380.
You're looking at the future of aviation, about to be bolted and riveted together for the very first time. 3 giant pieces of fuselage will soon become the body of the biggest airliner ever. 3 times as long as a blue whale, 5 times as heavy.
C'est bon.
The A380 marks a new era in airliners. A 555-seat double-decker megaplane, able to fly non-stop a third of the way around the globe. This project is an extreme challenge. Will the parts fit together? Will it be built on time? Just getting this far has taken courage and amazing ingenuity. Already over 10 years in the making, the dream is of a new kind of airliner using the very latest technology. All over the world, massive new factories are building parts for the huge machine. It's made using state-of-the-art methods and high-tech materials. But that's just the start. Transporting these giant parts to southwestern France has been an extraordinary feat of engineering. Traveling by river, sea, land, and air, components have covered thousands of miles, ducking low bridges, squeezing through tiny French villages in the middle of the night. But the next phase is the toughest yet. The aircraft must be assembled to the tightest of tolerances. The engines, the landing gear, the cockpit, the computers. Everything must be tested to the limit. It all has to work perfectly, because Airbus are playing for very high stakes.
This aircraft cannot be a failure. When you invest $10.7 billion on building what we're pronouncing to be the flagship of the 21st century, you can't fail. There isn't, well, we almost got there, or it's so-so, not too shabby. No, either it's going to be that flagship of the 21st century, or it's going to be a disaster.
Here at the final assembly line in Toulouse, France, a building that could hold 23 football fields, time is now of the essence. The prototype is scheduled to fly within 11 months. The clock is ticking. Task number 1 is to join 7 major components into one vast aircraft. It should take just over 5 weeks. This is a critical phase. The parts must be assembled perfectly if the plane is to fly as efficiently as Airbus expects. A mistake here would mean the prototype is flawed, putting the whole program back by months.
We need to be very, very accurate. We have to be sure that the general the shape of the aircraft is in line with the specification, and that the geometry of the aircraft is good, and to avoid twist fuselage or twist wings. The performance of the aircraft depends on this shape.
Gilles Cormier is in charge of this stage of assembly. His team face unique challenges building a plane that could, if every seat were economy, hold up to 850 people. The accuracy needed is the same as for any airliner, yet the parts are much, much larger. It's like building a Swiss watch that weighs over 200 tons.
I feel very confident now, even if it's difficult, because we have put in place a very accurate systems.
Small mirrors are mounted on the components. Lasers then invisibly scan their position, and a computer works out exactly where the sections are, in all 3 axes. This system ensures the aircraft is almost perfectly straight, over its entire 240-foot length. Once aligned, the fuselage shells are brought together very, very slowly. Pascal Belloc Dessus is using a remote control to maneuver the sections. Each turn on the finger dial brings the massive parts a tenth of an inch closer together, moved by huge mobile pillars supporting the shells. On the left, a part made in Germany. On the right, one made in France. This is the last stage of a 1,200-mile journey.
Well, the trick is to be organized, and then it should go okay. We're in good shape, I think, to start the joining of the fuselage now.
Engineered to within a fraction of an inch, the sections fit very tightly together. The clearance is so small that metal clips nicknamed shoehorns are needed to ease one aluminum shell over the other. Speeded up, this is the biggest airliner ever, coming together at last. The overlap is just 6 inches wide. When 10,000 rivets have been installed around the 75-foot circumference of the joint, the two parts will be fixed forever. But even as the fuselage takes shape, there's another equally tough challenge facing the company. Airbus must convince the airlines that they really do need a plane 45% bigger by volume than a Boeing 747.
The worst that could happen to Airbus, I guess, right now, after having invested the money, getting the airplane ready, is the world's airlines come, they take a look at it, and they say, well, it's not exactly what we had in mind. They've got to come, they've got to look at this airplane, and they've got to be impressed.
Selling planes at $265 million apiece is not a stroll in the park. For John Leahy, the pressure is on. 250 sales are needed for the project to break even. So far, he's got 139 firm orders. Today, the bosses of Australian airline Qantas are coming to check on their $3 billion order. You could cut the tension with a knife.
We're going to go out and greet them? Yeah. Okay, well, where's Chris?
Is that time?
Are they going to get about a 10-minute warning or something on the bus? It has to go smoothly. Well, this is one of our best customers, one of our bigger customers now for the 380 program, and we want to make sure that they're happy, that they get the answers from us that they want, and they go away with a good impression. You can imagine what would happen if they came here and said, oh my heavens, the A380 isn't what we thought it would be. In front of their entire board, that could be devastating.
After a presentation, the group will visit a showroom mock-up of the aircraft interior. It's only then that John Leahy will find out if the Australians like what they see. At stake is not only billions of dollars, but the pride and perhaps the future of the company as well. It's going to be a long day.
Building airplanes, especially giant ones, is hard work. Add in the pressure of ultra-tight deadlines, millions of dollars. This is no place for the faint-hearted. It's a bit like making movies, really. Nah, we've got it easy compared to these guys. Stay tuned to TLC.
June 2004, and the world's biggest airliner is on schedule, but only just. 2 weeks into the structural assembly, it's vital to keep the momentum going if the plane is to fly on time. Head of the program, Charles Champion, admits the schedule is tight.
It's going fast. It's going fast. It's like a race, it's like a marathon, but like any marathon, it's easy at the beginning, and then it starts to be more difficult, and I think we are starting to reach that point now. So the question is to manage your energy in order to be able to deliver the project.
Next, the wings. made with sheets of aluminum alloy up to 112 feet long and 3 inches thick, are attached. But first, some last-minute work is needed on the fittings for the joint. Project leader Eddie Davis has to react to changes even at this late stage.
It can happen with new aircraft. This is a last-minute job that we've had to come up today. We didn't know that the fittings weren't to the right standard, so now the guys are reworking them.
119 feet long each, the wings are among the largest ever built. Simply positioning them requires machinery on a massive scale. Weighing over 40 tons, the wings glide smoothly toward the fuselage on giant sliding pillars. Time may be tight, but this can't be rushed. It's vital the wings are perfectly aligned.
We'll slowly align the wing with the fuselage and then adjust the angle for the best aerodynamic performance. The efficiency of the plane really depends on us getting this right, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Again, the laser positioning system ensures the wing is in the right place and at the right angle. But after a whole day of careful work, a problem appears. Some large bolts have been left attached to the wing.
We must remove this one for finish the junction of the wing.
A quick phone call to check that it's okay, and they're swiftly removed to allow the build to carry on. A couple of miles away, at the immaculately manicured Airbus headquarters, John Leahy is conducting his guided tour for Qantas. They've arrived at the Airbus showroom, a vast facility full of cabin demonstrators of each type of Airbus plane.
Okay, now I think we've got just about everybody. Okay, now Rod.
Though it's all smiles, this is deadly serious. The Qantas chiefs will soon get their first sight of a realistic A380 interior. If they don't like it, there'll be trouble ahead.
It's almost like a young family introducing their new baby to the relatives. You want everybody to be impressed. You want everybody to say it's beautiful. And deep down inside, you're really waiting to see what they truly do say.
Jeff Dixon is the head of the airline, a tough-talking, no-nonsense businessman. Just the type of customer that Airbus must satisfy if the machine is to be a success. To begin with, he doesn't look too excited.
Notice the headroom. This is coming out on standard size. We've got to deliver. We made the promises, and now we have to deliver on those promises. And how do you know if you're really delivering? You look to the airlines, to the customer. He's got to say yes. Here's the premium economy concept.
John presses on with the walkabout, and then, almost in a whisper, Jeff lets out his true reaction.
It's true. And that's the way the liners are.
Oh, it's fabulous. Better than we expected when we ordered, but we did expect a lot, so yeah, right up to expectations.
Although the colors and layout will change for Jeff Dixon's planes, this mock-up represents one hard reality. Billions of dollars already spent on an Airbus that has yet to leave the ground.
Now, I wouldn't go as far as to say they bet the shop on it, but they've certainly bet a lot on it. But then, by the same token, we're not betting the shop on buying it, but we're making a huge commitment to an aircraft that hasn't flown. Now, we know and very confident that it will fly, and it will fly very, very well. But still, we're all making very, very big commitments and taking quite a few chances in a development like this.
The pressure is building. Within just 10 months, the A380 must take to the skies.
You know, although this new Airbus is going to be seriously big, the sheer size of it is only part of the deal. It's also the technology, the complexity. Just having the guts to build something like this is what I find really neat. So stay tuned.
It's now mid-June, and as the pressure builds to create the biggest passenger plane ever, there's zero time to waste. This is the horizontal tailplane. With a span of 105 feet, it's as big as the wings of a 150-seat airliner. Made of carbon fiber in high-tech factories in South and Central Spain, it's easily the biggest tailplane ever made. The tail fin is another carbon fiber monster. 46 feet high, it's made near Hamburg in Germany. When installed, it will stand as high as an 8-story building. Airports will have to buy new cranes to service the equipment fitted at the top. Carefully, it's craned into place and attached with 24 titanium bolts. Charles Champion, head of the program, comes to check on progress. Gilles Cormier, the guy who runs this section, has bad news for the boss.
We have a problem with this, the tail cone. It's 6 millimeters out of tolerance side to side. It's not good.
A manufacturing error means that the tail cone, the most rearward piece of the fuselage, is slightly out of line.
6 millimeters overall?
No, from side to side.
Oh, okay. I see.
While the problem can be solved later, the real difficulty is the time that this kind of troubleshooting takes.
I think it's one of those phases when where the success of the project is at reach, but you have many elements to tackle in parallel in order to make it happen. So you're under control, but you've got to work fast on several parallel subjects in order to be able to deliver the project at the end.
The next stage is to install the landing gear. These massive parts have to be unbelievably strong. Not only is the A380 the biggest passenger plane ever built, unfortunately, landing gear in general gets a pretty tough time out there in the real world. Most landing gear engineers have this low-resolution video clip on their computers as a reminder of the extreme conditions that can occur. Heading for the now disused Kai Tak Airport in Hong Kong is a Boeing 747. Approaching in a crosswind, the left-hand gear is about to take the full weight of this huge plane as it hits the tarmac. That such a difficult landing can be successful, as this one was, is an amazing feat of engineering. That gear was made by the Goodrich Corporation, who are also building the main landing gear for the A380. Here, near Toronto in Canada, production is well underway, and the testing phase is just about to begin.
When we have a new landing gear program, we have a lot of tests that we need to do. Strength, performance, dynamics, durability. This one is a performance test. This is one of the first tests we do. It's one of the more important tests. It's called a drop test. What it is a simulation of landing. So when an aircraft lands, an A380 lands, got 560 tons of aircraft moving slowly towards the ground, as well as 200 miles an hour down the runway. When the aircraft hits the ground, something has got to absorb that energy. So if you jump off a chair and you land, your knees have to bend and give a little bit. Even just with the weight of a person, you're going to damage yourself if nothing gives. So that giving of your knees, your legs are absorbing energy. That's what the landing gear has to do, but it has to do it for, instead of 180 pounds, it's got to do it for 560 tons.
Suspended inside this huge tower, the landing gear is slowly raised for the sudden drop to come. To simulate the forward speed of the aircraft, a set of smaller wheels, driven by powerful electric motors, spin the big 55-inch tires in the reverse direction. When a switch is flicked in the control room, a hook at the top of the tower will release, allowing the gear to fall. It must absorb the same energy as a 100-mile-an-hour car crash. without being damaged. It's a critical phase in the whole program.
This could be a make or break test. If the performance of the landing gear isn't what we predicted it to be, it could impact the schedule for the first flight. So it's essential that the gear performs to how we predicted it. And from these tests, we'll be able to tell whether it does.
Soon they'll find out if their latest and largest landing gear will make the grade.
Today's airliner is truly a miracle of technology. Hi, I'm John Travolta. Stay tuned for the next chapter in this incredible story.
This massive, six-wheeled, 6.5-ton landing gear is just part of the A380's undercarriage. In total, it'll have 2 6-wheel units plus 2 4-wheel units under the wings and a 2-wheel set under the nose. So, what you're about to see is only a fraction of the energy involved when the vast machine touches down.
Okay, I'm going to drop now.
Go ahead.
Oh, too hot.
Just the delay, you can see it moving here.
Oh.
All right.
The test goes well. Early data shows that although there was an unwanted shudder as the wheels came to a halt, the landing gear shrugged off the huge impact with ease. Back at the factory, there's more good news. 2.5 years after the very first part was made, the first flying A380 is about to leave the main assembly station. For Gilles Cormier, it's a good moment.
Maybe we forget a little the trouble we encountered during the past weeks, and now we are looking at the aircraft itself, the achievement, more than the difficulties we had.
Now's the chance to see at last the biggest airliner ever built. Now that the world's largest airliner is coming together at last, the really hard phase can begin. July 2004, and the plane is scheduled to spend the next few months in this massive hall, where thousands of parts will be fitted, including over 500 miles of wiring. The man in charge of this complex phase is fully aware there's an awful lot of work to do by the end of October.
It's a very difficult challenge, because it's a prototype, so it's very difficult to meet our deadline.
Coming up is August, the traditional vacation month in France, when most of the country shuts down. This year, there will be no vacation.
My family are very aware of this personal challenge, so everybody in the family is okay to say, okay, this year, it's the aircraft year.
The plane is lifted on huge jacks, and teams of technicians begin work. The plan is for the aircraft to be revealed to the world in a grand ceremony, precisely 196 days from now. Attending will be heads of state and government, 5,000 guests, and the world's media, with the event beamed by satellite all over the world. But just now, this 55-year-old man has a rather special interest in the new machine. Jacques Rosé will be the first person in the world to fly the plane. Seeing it for the first time, his reaction is not exactly what you'd expect.
Generally speaking, well, it's an aircraft. Larger than the one we have already, but I think I feel very, very confident.
He's confident because of what's within this building. For here, in flight simulators, lies the heart and soul of the new plane, already living, already being tested. Jacques and his team have already spent thousands of hours at the controls of the A380. Like most modern airliners, it has a fly-by-wire system, where the crew, in reality, are controlling a computer, which then controls the plane.
You don't realize that you fly such a big aircraft. You fly it like you fly a little aircraft. It's incredible. It's very, very easy to fly, like a bicycle. It's a kind of large bicycle, if you like. 3, 2.
The technology means they can make it handle in almost any way they choose.
You could make an airplane that when you turn right goes left, or when you turn left goes right, for example. You can do anything.
Fernando Alonso will also be on the first flight. Like all Airbus pilots, his first priority is safety, especially if one of the complex systems were to fail.
Designing an airplane to work when everything works is relatively easy. It's building the airplane or designing the airplane to work correctly with failures. It's a little bit more difficult.
The program's so far advanced that the team are now testing how the plane would react if the wings were covered in ice, 2 engines had failed, and half the flight computers had gone offline. A situation that's only likely to occur once in 10 million hours. That's over 1,000 years of flying.
5 beta, 7, 8, piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake.
This kind of sophistication has its drawbacks because when it comes to building the first aircraft, things are very complicated indeed. Already the schedule is slipping and everything possible must be done to claw back some time. Work continues at a feverish pace as thousands of components, big and small, are fitted.
We can't relax. We can't relax. We have no right, we have no time to relax. So every hour, every minute we are there on the workshop, our main job is to receive pressure and to transmit pressure. And it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
5 and 6 could be 1 out. How about 7?
The main problem is that the major parts were not fully finished when they were delivered here back in May. The wings, tail, and fuselage all need more work and must be finished before the laborious process of testing everything can begin. If the plane is ever to fly, there's a long way to go. Christian Polite is the engineer in charge of the tail fin, known as the vertical tail plane, or VTP. Getting this part ready has not been easy, but finally, it's time to install the last piece. It's a camera that gives the pilot a bird's eye view from the very top of the fin, some 75 feet up.
Right now we're going up to the almost to the very top of the vertical tail plane in order to install the last component which remains on the VTP still left. Yeah? You can easily see that this part is only screwed to the structure by, I guess, 20 screws around, and it has to be connected to the electric system via these 2 little connectors. The signals are transferred via a fiber optical cable down to a monitor in the cockpit.
This is in many ways a typical Airbus story. Way back in February 2004, here in Stade, Germany, Christian oversaw the final construction of the largest carbon fiber fin ever conceived. Even then, producing such a big part from such high-tech materials meant that the schedule was going to suffer.
We started with a schedule which allowed us to assemble the first fin within a reasonable time, but in fact we encountered problems which delayed the time for the assembly, and to worsen the situation, the lead time was shortened. So we ended up with a lead time that was nearly half of the original lead time we planned.
The result was that, even though the fin was delivered on time, there was a lot of troubleshooting left to do, and Christian has moved to France to oversee the outstanding work.
We came here and thought we have a good planning, we have a good time schedule, we have everything on hand, but it wasn't like that. The moment we started working, we had to change each and every point. The planning was upside down, and so we had to start to work. So that's the way you can find the way through the jungle. Yeah.
Now, though, as the screws go in on the camera, the end is in sight.
It's a good sound. That means the screw is in. With every screw, we're a little step towards the end, yeah?
But then there's a problem.
Nee.
The fiber optic cable is too short to reach the camera.
Nichts mehr. Okay, da hast du nichts mehr. The connector is here, and the cable ends here, and we have to have another 1 centimeter, about half an inch, which is the cable too short. I mean, but these are, yeah, these moments really piss me off. I mean, when you're almost done, so close, you can see the end. You almost stepped over the line, and then someone blocks you, hits you in the face, saying, "Hey, you're not yet done." How could you imagine?
Despite the setbacks in other areas, things are going to plan. Now they can begin mounting the engines, one of the most impressive and expensive single parts of the whole aircraft. Together, 4 of these new Rolls-Royce Trent 900s make up a quarter of the cost of the A380, nearly $60 million, the same as 4 tons of solid gold.
Hi, I'm John Travolta. You're watching the world's biggest airliner, the A380, on TLC. Don't go away.
Back in May 2004, early flight testing began. Bolted onto an Airbus A380, a much smaller airliner, the new power plant dwarfs the other 3 engines. Weighing over 6 tons, the Trent 900 can produce up to 35 tons of thrust at full power, burning a gallon of fuel every 4 seconds. These early tests prove the engine at altitude, but there's a much tougher one to come. Here in Hucknall in England, another test engine will soon be a smoking ruin, deliberately destroyed as part of a dramatic safety test. It's an important milestone for the entire A380 project, and as engineer Hilary Barton travels to the test, she admits to some nerves.
I must admit, I've got a few butterflies at the moment, but basically everybody's done the preparation and it's just now a matter of getting on and doing the test. But obviously before the engine starts, you're sitting there just kind of hoping it all go well, but just really waiting for it to happen now.
Every few years, a fan blade will fail in a jet engine somewhere in the world, a rare but violent event that must not put lives in danger. At the root of the colored blade is an explosive charge. With the engine at full power, it'll be detonated, releasing the blade with astonishing force. Whatever happens, it must not be allowed to burst out of the engine, where, in real life, it could do serious damage to the rest of the aircraft. In a room 200 yards away, watching via a video link, are 25 key personnel, each hoping the test goes as planned. In the split second the blade is released, the engine must successfully contain an enormous amount of energy.
It is a very violent test. This thing is spinning around, it's at full power, so you've got the forces on the blade are quite significant. It's like having a locomotive hanging on that blade. So you're actually having to contain the energy of that system. So there's a lot of energy involved in the design and containment of the blade. I mean, the whole engine will get a huge, big shape.
As ever, the size of the A380 increases the challenge. The bigger the engine, the bigger the blades, and the greater the force if one were to fail. Everything is done to make the blades as light as possible. A top-secret process produces these plates from ultra-strong, ultra-light titanium alloy. The starting point for blades that will have to hold over 7,000 times their own weight, due to the outward force as they spin around at 3,000 revolutions per minute. Each blade needs to be hollow, and to achieve that, it's heated to 900 degrees in a furnace. Inert gas is then pumped into cavities inside the softened blade, inflating it like a long, thin balloon. The result is a component curved in 3 different directions for aerodynamic efficiency. Supremely strong, yet light enough for someone to pick up and move quite easily. Each one costs the same as a luxury car, and a full set of 24 are about to be trashed in the name of safety.
You know, I've been fascinated by flying since I was a kid. It's kind of what pushed me forward through life. And I'm sure that this new Airbus will inspire a whole new generation of kids to go for their dreams too. We'll be back soon.
The first stage in this ultra-expensive, highly critical test is to run the engine at low power so final checks can be made. Over in the viewing room, Hilary Barton and her colleagues are anxiously waiting. The main concern is that the fan case, the ring around the engine that takes the brunt of the impact, does its job and prevents any large parts from escaping. High-speed film cameras are used to analyze the action, and at last the throttles are opened and the engine brought to its full, awesome power. This is what it feels like to be inside a building 200 yards away from a $15 million blade-off event. Blade-off testing is normally top secret, but for the first time, Rolls-Royce have released this footage, showing that the fan case did indeed do its job, preventing the blade escaping from the engine, despite the massive shock the entire system received.
I wasn't expecting 5 minutes.
It was, wasn't it?
For Hilary Barton, today has been a good day.
I feel very relieved. Obviously, it's gone well. We've had a good test, and it's all credit to the guys. And yes, we've got a successful test under a belt. So I feel relieved and really pleased.
Back in France, the prototype plane is about to leave the equipping hall. Instead of an October afternoon as planned, it's a foggy, gray December morning. With the grand unveiling just 5 weeks away, the next giant task is to paint the massive machine. In yet another vast hangar, working over the Christmas vacation, 90 painters descend on the plane. First, they rub down over 100,000 square feet of bodywork. Then, after a superhuman effort of masking off, the A380 is ready for a brand new paint job. All in all, more than half a ton of paint and primer are needed to protect the aluminum skin from the elements. The final design is a closely guarded secret and won't be revealed until the big day. Until now, the project has been a private affair, but today the A380 goes public, and as usual, it's massive. Inside part of the final assembly line, seating for 5,000 guests has been installed. In the equipping hall, now full of part-built planes, TV reporters are hard at work, feeding the story to networks all over the world. Richard Branson, head of Virgin Atlantic, has grabbed the headlines with news of double beds and casinos in his planes. For John Leahy and thousands of others, it's a dream come true.
It took an awful long time to get here, didn't it? But now we're here. It's pretty exciting.
The heads of state and governments arrive and take their places for a spectacle featuring dry ice, flying machines, and computer graphics. Speeches are made, but there's only one star of this show. Finally, the biggest airliner of all time is there for all to see.
I do feel really touched by this very moment, yeah.
Well, it's a good achievement, huh? I mean, a good show and good speeches and a nice aircraft. And tomorrow back to work to make it fly. No, it's good. It's good.
This is an exciting day, but we can't relax. You can't let up on the pressure. The pressure for sales, the pressure for performance, the pressure to get this airplane out and make it happen.
There's still a very long way to go.
Relaxing at a bar or trying your luck at the casino. But it's not the airport that'll be home to those amenities. It's a new class of luxury Airbuses. John Draper has more on the new A380 jetliner.
Unveiled to the world, they call it the giant of the airways, the colossus of the skies. When they're right about one thing, it's a big one. It may have been rather dimly lit, but it was our first sight of the largest passenger jet ever constructed. Say hello to the Airbus A380. In a year or two's time, you may be sitting in it. Earlier, they put on a launch show worthy of the Olympics, featuring the European nations, including Britain, of course, that built it. Prime ministers and presidents all turned out for the launch in Toulouse in the south of France. Tony Blair said it was British industry and European cooperation working at its best.
It will change the way that we travel. It is the largest civil aircraft ever built. It will carry record-breaking numbers of passengers over the world's oceans and continents.
So what's so special about it? Well, for a start, it dwarfs every other passenger plane in the skies. Even the old jumbo jet, the 747, is overshadowed by the new kid on the block. They're even calling the A380 the Super Jumbo. It seats up to 900 people, double-decker of course, and if you can afford to fly first class, it'll feel more like being on a cruise ship. Virgin Atlantic have already signed up to add them to their list with some novel innovations.
Among a range of fun new features, we plan to have a gym area for our passengers to stretch and work out during the flight. We plan to introduce larger bars so passengers are not stuck in the seat. They can get out and meet each other around a bar. We're going to introduce a beauty parlour. We plan to have a casino. We'll also have a lot more double beds.
The new plane won't just fly thousands of us around the world, it'll employ 100,000 people making and servicing it. It gets its first flight in March.
Sounds great. The new plane cost $280 million US. So far, 14 airlines and freight companies have placed orders for the planes.